Hi everyone, welcome to this week's video. During this time of Lent and Ramadan, I thought it would be perfect if we invited Karen Sears, our inventory manager, to join us, since this is such a naturally giving time of year, and many of you are out about and doing food drives within your communities, or participating, or maybe you're adding a few things to your grocery shopping list while you are at the stores. And so we're really excited to have Karen with us today.
Happy to be here.
And just as a side note, Karen and her team distributed almost 1 million pounds of food last year, and it takes a lot of work to do that. And how do we do that? So we're gonna ask Karen some questions today, but just to suggest that all of that food that we distribute comes to us through Food Banks Mississauga. Some of it is bulk purchasing, but much of it is through donations. And so we're gonna ask Karen a few questions, and hopefully she'll help guide us to getting the right donations into the building. So welcome, Karen.
Hi, Trish.
So happy to have you here. So 1 million pounds of food and hygiene, that certainly takes a lot of work to distribute. How is that broken down? How much is purchased versus how much comes through Food Banks Mississauga and the community donations?
This number has changed quite a bit over the last 5 years. 20% of the food that we distribute comes from donations. 40% comes from Food Banks Mississauga, and the 40% balance is purchased by me.
Excellent. Those are some really cool numbers. So with 20% coming from donations, how does one decide what is the best item to donate to a food bank? How do I know if I'm out contributing to a food drive? Tell me.
Well, there are a couple of different ways. First of all, on our website every week, there's the most needed items post. There's also a long list for food drives on the website, but I would suggest that canned protein is definitely the way to go.
That is a significant contributor to hampers or items that we send out. Protein is a really important piece, and often those are the items that are a little more expensive in the grocery stores, and so our clients won't often make the decision to spend $4 or $5 on a can of salmon. They may choose to spend that money elsewhere, so that is a good tip. Can I donate food that's expired or past the best before?
We prefer not, but as often happens with donations, there's items with all kinds of dates, and we have a Food Bank Canada guideline here that suggests that after a best before date, we can distribute any product up to a year, which we do. An expiration date is something different. An expiration date is used on a product that has a lot of protein in it that can break down over time. So the expiration date is not on very many items. Best before date, though, is kind of a guess as to canned food will last over time, and as we know, it probably lasts for quite some time. But we distributed 1 year past its best before date.
That's really good information to know. So a best before and an expiry is different.
Very different.
So best before doesn't mean bad after.
No, it doesn't happen
it just
at the stroke of midnight, no.
No, it doesn't. And so we can distribute food that is past the best before up to a year. And so that's really good information. So the products that we can't distribute through our regular food bank, do we just dispose of those items?
It depends. I cannot distribute an expired product past that expiration date. However, we do have plenty of items even past the 1 year past the best before date, and we do let people choose those items themselves on the free shelf.
Excellent. So we have a free shelf out in the community room. Some of you may have seen that, where people can choose to pick up items or leave them behind. And so the food still does get into good hands. And we do have some that we dispose of as well.
Not very much.
During donation times, we often get people inquiring about clothing donations from the community. And I know we don't accept those. And so sometimes folks want to know why we don't accept those.
And I say that if we had the room, we would do an exceptionally good job at it, but we simply don't have the room for anything more than the food that we distribute and some special supplies for our clients who are experiencing homelessness.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate having Karen here today. I hope that has cleared up some of your questions. Always great to hear questions. It makes these videos easier for me to do. And it's nice having a guest here today. Thank you to all of you that makes our job so wonderful every week. We appreciate everything you do. And during this season of Lent and Ramadan, it is naturally giving. So do think of us here at The Compass. And thank you once again for being the help for today and the hope for tomorrow. Take good care.
Thank you, everybody.